This is an exclusive interview with Professor Kabir Bala, Vice Chancellor Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, by a crew of Noblenews online media outfit. The interview is on the backdrop of the two prototypes produced by some ABU scientists. The two prototypes produced in the university are the ventilator and a 4-in-1 automatic hand-washing machine. COVID-19 pandemic has forced many countries to look inward to sort alternatives for the shortages of essential goods and services like hand sanitizers, oxygen, basic reagents, soap and water, face masks, ventilators and other services which are very essential in curbing this pandemic. Universities and scientists across the globe are looked upon to intensify efforts to provide these essential goods and services. Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria rose to the challenge by contributing their quota to the national efforts towards the containment of the COVID-19 pandemic. Consequent upon that, a team of scientists in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria took up the challenge and had successfully produced a ventilator and a 4-in-1 automatic hand-washing machine. Here are the team of scientists behind these innovations. The Director, Equipment Maintenance and Development Center, where these innovations are produced, Professor M.S. Sallow. The team leader, an automotive engineer and a specialist in fuels, engines and emissions, Engineer Dr. Kaisan Muhammad Usman. An electronics and telecommunication engineer, Engineer Dr. Kabir Ahmad Abu Bilal. Engineer Dr. Yusuf Suleiman Dambata, a mechatronics engineer, Engineer Abdullahi Abubakar. An electronics and computer engineer, Engineer Zubairu Inusa. A software developer, Nasur Abdullahi Tanko. A biomedical engineer, Engineer Awal Abdurazak Aliyu. Engineer Ya'u Mukhtar. Fabrication and biomedical engineer. And a mechanical engineer, Engineer Awal Ayabu. Having examined and seen the demonstration of the two prototypes, it becomes pertinent to have this exclusive chat with the Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Kabir Bala.
It's a pleasure, sir, for this privilege. When we started this, I stumbled on the words of Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, on the very day this university was commissioned. The words of Sir Ahmadu Bello, the founder of this university, verbatim, Sardauna said, "I believe that a university is or should be a reservoir of knowledge and special skills, stored in its library and research records, and in the heads of its staff. We must see to it that this knowledge is made available to those who need it. Often, the man in the field has a problem and does not know that an answer exists. The man in the university may have an answer, but does not know that the problem exists. We must see to it that these two are brought together so that the country gets to know its university and what it can do, and the university staff get to know the country and what it needs." End of quote. The production of this prototype, sir, as Sir Ahmadu Bello years ago foresaw, as if he has seen coronavirus. Today, the university staff, who he said have the reservoir of knowledge, were able to identify a need the country needs, and they were able to come up with major prototypes. Globally, we have made some searches and realized that these prototypes, if given the necessary input, can go a long way in alleviating the problems of a lack or scarcity in Africa and even beyond. That is why we said, Sardauna, the representative today is you. How do we go from here? The center that produced or organized the production of these prototypes have done other prototypes in the past. They are still in the shelves. Without ample leadership and political willpower, this prototype might also remain on the shelves. And we want to see, sir, what would be your contribution in making sure that these prototypes are not left like the ones in their shelves?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, when such innovations are made and tested, the first and most important thing to do is to patent them, because these are innovations that can be copied or stolen, if we want to use a stronger word, by somebody else. These are intellectual properties. And so we have set, in order to avoid that, we have set the machinery in motion to patent these innovations. Secondly, in order to make sure, to answer your question, that they are not left on the shelves or in the heads of these eggheads or in our libraries. We have started making efforts with the industry to see whether we can get some investors to come and partner with us and develop these innovations so that they can be real products in the market. Presently, the stage we are is where the Standards Organization of Nigeria is testing them, and we have some good news that they have passed all the standard tests so far. So as soon as documentation is ready and we get the patent, we'll get going. Actually, we have some investors that are interested in investing, and we are going to pursue that adequately. Now, that's on one hand. On the other hand, I think government is also desirous of investing in some of these innovations. And there is a government fund, I think 100 billion naira in the Central Bank of Nigeria, which they are going to disburse to for all these efforts towards combating COVID. And we have participated in the discussion on how to draw on the funds. Tomorrow, actually, we'll have a meeting with the stakeholders to see how we can exploit this opportunity by government, so that if we can draw on enough funds to even produce these things ourselves, I think we can go ahead. More on that is previous innovations, you see, perhaps because of alternatives that come from abroad, cheaply from China, I think, as we know. But in the case of COVID, that is why in some quarters, COVID is being seen as an opportunity. And our scientists have, seized that opportunity. Congratulations to all of us, and have come up with these innovations. And the positive side of COVID is that this maxim of necessity is the mother of invention has come to play. Now, people wanted to import ventilators, but ventilators are not on the market because of the demand, international demand for them. And therefore, the onus is on each and every country to solve its problems as best it could. And there's nothing better than producing your own product. You consume it first before you can even exploit external markets, which will eventually be one of our objectives in order to earn revenue for the university. And so that's the way we want to go. And by the grace of God, these innovations will not be on the shelves. We will see them to fruition.
Sir, you've talked about the scarcity of this product in the global market and the demand. We rightly know that even ECOWAS is rightly looking for these ventilators to supply to African countries at the moment. This team of scientists, just like we said earlier on, you have come at a time when this breakthrough are made in ABU Zaria. But thorough investigation revealed that this center had been lacking behind in terms of facilities, equipment, and even overhead cost. What intent do you have to motivate this team of scientists? Maybe they can do more than what they are doing right now, and intention to this center so that you make it so robust.
Well, the issue of funding is not new. The paucity of funds permeates all aspects of the Nigerian public service. There is no gainsaying the fact that there's just not enough funding. And this is only going to get more severe as time goes by because of the indices that we quite know in this country. And so it's going to be difficult But you see, as I said earlier, necessity is the mother of invention. We are going to deploy everything we have at our disposal to see that we garner the funding for this center and other centers in this university to prolific. In this regard, one of my cardinal objectives as Vice Chancellor is to upgrade all laboratories and workshops in this university. In fact, to show seriousness in that, on my first day in office, I visited the Center for Energy Research and Training, the laboratory. I had an extensive discussion with the researchers there, and subsequently in the following days also I visited other laboratories, the Central Engineering Laboratory, very close to this center, and the COVID itself testing center that has just been established in this university. So for us to have this good research that you refer to as mentioned by our founding fathers, Ahmadu Bello of blessed memory, we need to upgrade our laboratories to very, very high standards for us to conduct researches that will be novel and competitive all over the world. So we have that objective. And if one day, if you come around, I'll show you some of the concept notes that we have for a research and innovation center, which should be a higher center than what we have presently, and which can be used by any member of the university community that has something novel that they want to hatch. The innovation center will be like an incubation hub for researchers across the whole university. And we have gone a long way in the concept for the center. And we hope by the grace of God that will come to fruition, especially with these developments that we have in the country. The need is there, and we all know that we have to look inwards to solve our own problems. Nobody in their right mind should henceforth depend on any external source to solve internal problems. We must, rely on our own internal resources, human, material, whatever, to solve our own problems. So I believe that with that in mind, even the funding for that one may a little bit be easy to come by. And so for this center, when I visited the center also myself, by the way, I visited the center also in my bid to have a first-hand feel of what our laboratories are. I said, perhaps if we are lucky to get the funding that we hope to get, we may upgrade that center even before we build the innovation center, which will be which consume a lot of resources. So before we can get that, we may likely upgrade the center. And upgrade, usually when you say upgrade, people think about fantastic buildings. Not necessarily so. It's upgrade in the equipment, in the facilities, in the what is required for people to do their work. So, and then I think we'll take off from there.
How do you intend to achieve that? The fact that the center is jointly partnered by at least three Kaduna State Government, ABU, and ABUT.
The center that is, run in a tripartite agreement is the COVID testing center, and that's Kaduna State Government, ABU Teaching Hospital, and Ahmadu Bello University. That's a different one. I'm talking about upgrading the equipment maintenance and development center where these innovations were done.
So, given the fact that Africans are known for this idea that only foreign materials are qualitative enough to provide the needed service, how do you intend to change this mindset, particularly as it pertains to government? Because you talked about sourcing, obtaining sort of people that will come and invest in this. Is government part of the agencies you expect will invest in these inventions?
Naturally. You heard me mention that government has already set aside 100 billion naira in the Central Bank of Nigeria. So that's already government's intention to invest in all these innovations. And now your question about our love for anything foreign, manufactured foreign, that is well known. But you also heard me say necessity is the mother of invention. Now, even if you want, some of these products are no longer available in the market. And I think part of the reason that Nigerians, Africans, like these foreign things is because we have not made enough effort to establish ourselves to produce. I'll cite you an example. Nokako is a brand of cables, electrical cables, and it's one of the best in the world. So as a builder, I buy Nokako first before any other cable. And in Nigeria, anybody, Nokako is first choice. Even if the cable comes from Germany or Britain, Nokako is first choice. So all we need to do is to control our quality, pay a lot of attention to quality control, produce to standards, and people will love the products. You'll see that, especially for engineering products, one of the problems we have is finishing. So the finishing is usually very, very poor. And so if we are able to take care of that, I think we would have gone a long way in convincing people that we are up to the task to produce these materials. And I will praise the efforts of government at this juncture, because this present government has invested in skill acquisition, and which is what is important, middle level, high level skills in the production of goods and medium scale, large scale industries. So I think that effort is also complementary, and there's no better time for us to produce than now that government has been involved in an effort to upskill the skill competence of our artisans and craftsmen who produce actually these things in industries, and then the innovations that are coming. I think both efforts are complementary, and it's positive. The future, the outlook is positive. I think we are going to get to the promised land by the grace of God.
So finally, sir, what is your word to the entire researchers within the university?
All of us researchers in the university, I'm calling on all of us to come forth, because I always say I'm a very, very proud Abu site, as we call ourselves. There is a lot of capacity in Ahmadu Bello University. Many researches, novel researches have been done, and with this challenge that we have, I think we can even dust some of those on the shelves. We can, make new research proposals based on contemporary issues, and we can be making these breakthroughs, I assure you, in ABU every now and then. So I call on all of us to put up our thinking caps and go back to our labs, go back to our libraries, and see what we can do to solve our local problems, our national problems, our regional problems as envisaged by Sir Ahmadu Bello. May his soul rest in peace.
Thank you very much for your time.